I'm going to also record this. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to our free webinar today. We're looking at metabolic health. We're looking at how to fix the root cause. I'm so excited that you're here today because we're going to be touching on a number of different things. And we have a guest speaker, and I can't wait for you to meet him and some other people that I get to do life with just about every day. We are talking about something that is near and dear to so many of our hearts. And I want to make sure that you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen, Dr.
Not
Bobby?
yet. Not yet.
Okay, let's see. Let's hope this works. Okay, maybe. All right, can you see it now?
Nope. Now we
Nope.
can. Now we can.
Now
Yes.
you can. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, perfect. Okay, guys, we have a huge dilemma going on in our world, and I think most of you can agree with that we have a big dilemma, but we also have an awesome opportunity to support our body. So we're going to be talking about that today. And if you wouldn't mind to just drop in the chat where are you coming from? What state are you in? We would love to know, just kind of get to know you a little bit. So just let us know where you're coming in from as we start sharing today more about this dilemma that we're facing as a society, as a community, as families, as individuals. And then we're going to get to hear from our speaker today, Dr. Bobby. I'm super excited about that. Spencer, West Virginia, Texas, Morville, Texas, Harlingen. We've got people from all over. How exciting. So, welcome today, South Texas. Thank you guys for being here. All right, the dilemma. You guys can see all this on the screen. We have so much sickness and disease that's prevalent in our society. And I'm sure you can say that you have been touched by some of the conditions that we're going to talk about today. And we're hoping that we can bring you some support, some hope, some inspiration, and some tactical tools to step away from this and say, hey, I can easily do that. If we look at this slide, we're looking at health span versus lifespan. And guys, what's happening is our health span is shrinking while our lifespan is growing. Many people are living longer, but it's like we're living longer, but we're living with chronic disease. So, my question for you is what are you creating? I don't know about you, but one of the things that I value the most is my health. And when I'm not feeling well, there's nothing around me is functioning well. My mind's not functioning well, my home's not functioning well, my relationships aren't functioning well. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about today, and we want to address that. And the crisis that we're in, if you look at this screen and you see the bottom where it says nightmare, people are starting with chronic disease. And now the slide's probably even older because I've used it for years. But let's just say at 55, you start with chronic disease. My husband had a widowmaker heart attack at 50. So he was even younger than this slide. So that's 45 years if we live to the diet, if we live another 45 years, that's 45 years of sickness and disease, chronic stress on the body. We want to fix that. If we can fix that, we want to help our body to thrive and not just survive. Okay. So we're going to look at all that today. So, what life are you creating? Here's the problem 93% of all adults, Americans, and guys, it's going down to our children, are metabolically unhealthy. If you look at this wheel of torture, where do you see yourself? Cancer, PCOS. I had PCOS in my 30s, 40s, fatty liver, heart disease, high blood pressure, Alzheimer's, dementia, all of these are coming into play. Erectile dysfunction, PCOS, neuropathy, people losing limbs, literally, the obesity epidemic happening in our children. And guys, it's not a willpower issue. It's not your fault. There's a whole system behind it. We're going to get into a little bit about that. But if you notice, think about your family, think about your loved ones. Many times we go to our dinners, our holiday gatherings, our get-togethers, our weddings. We've got weddings coming up. We've got graduations coming up. And we're struggling with the belly fat. It's more of a family condition just because we like to eat the same way. We love that good ultra-processed food sometimes. We've got the skin tags, we've got the inflammation, the joints, the injuries that are happening, the high cholesterol, the sleep apnea. We're not sleeping well. Sleep is so important. The high blood pressure, the constant cravings. And that was me. I ate food all day long. I was constantly hungry. I was overfed and undernourished, literally. And I thought I was trying to do well. This is our modern diet dilemma. This is what I was doing. I was getting up in the morning, 8 a.m. I would eat, 10 a.m. I would eat. I was making my smoothies. I was making my healthy juices. I didn't realize I was spiking my insulin. I was snacking all day long. The better we know, Dr. Bobby, the better we can do, right? All of this has just been opened up to us. And I thought having my apple juice, making my own juice was a good thing, removing the fiber from it. So I was packing on the pounds as I was doing that. And that's what's happened to our food, guys. We spike our blood sugar all day long. And then we have all of these symptoms, all these signs of insulin resistance. So just look at this. And as you're looking at it, say, hey, is this me? Is this a family member that I know and love and care about? Is this somebody that I know? We want to get to the root cause of the problem. We don't want to put a band-aid on it. We don't want to cover it up. We want to fix the root. So many turn to pharmaceuticals. And Dr. Bobby has been in this world, in this arena for years. And I'm so excited that we get to hear from him today. Statins, metformin, Ozempic, the bariatric surgeries. These are things that are happening all around us every day. And with those, there comes some risk. So you're going to hear more about that. So I want to welcome Dr. Bobby Muniz. He is a pharmacist, and him and his wife Amy came into my life, gosh, probably 8, 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago. And it's not been the same. I have learned so much from him and the resources that we have. And his wife is just his family. Bottom line, they are they're a light. They're a light to their community. They're a light to our community, and I'm so thankful for them. But let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Bobby, okay? He has 14 years of experience in the field of functional medicine. He's highly sought after. He's accredited. He's credible. He has a proven track record of working with men and women to help them fix their metabolic health. He's getting to the root cause. He's not just saying, hey, I'm just going to give you another pharmaceutical. He is talking to people, having in-depth conversations. Those conversations that we need to be having, because if we don't fix the metabolism, we're in trouble. His expertise is further validated by his fellowship with the American Academy of Anti-Aging, which is so important, guys. How do you want to age? We were just looking at that before. How do we want to age? Um, Hold on here. I'm going to let some people in. We want to age well, right? And Dr. Bobby has all of this expertise, this wisdom behind him. So, Dr. Bobby, please take the stage. I can't wait to hear all that you're going to share with us and all that we're going to learn from you today.
Hey, Andrea, thank you guys so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah. So a little bit about me before we even talk about me. Let's just reframe and think about all the issues that are happening. Wonderful presentation, Andrea, talking about the root cause, right? Oftentimes we forget, hey, we put band-aids over symptoms, but when we don't look at the root cause and identify the root cause, we can really never get rid of the symptoms, right? Um, and when I'm practicing functional medicine, that's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to find the root cause. For 14 years, as you mentioned, for over 14 years, I've been helping men and women balance their hormones. And I'm always driving for the root cause. Perimenopause and menopause, menopause, right? We know that those are an imbalance in hormones, including insulin. But until recently, I didn't realize, the world didn't realize how powerful insulin was and how it works with our estrogen, our progesterone, and our testosterone. So it's a pleasure to be talking about insulin resistance and all these hormones, you know. And I know that when I'm working with a patient, if a patient comes in, one of the first things I do now is I test their insulin. What is their insulin level? I would ask you guys, do you know what your insulin level is? Can you let me know in the comments, yes or no, if you know what your insulin level is? Not your A1C, not your fasting glucose. Claudia knows. Anybody else? Yes. Great, Mike. Perfect. And these are all people that are actually practicing the protocol, which I love. Yes, 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 yes. So we want to identify, that's where I start. Hey, before I used to start with just estrogen and just progesterone. I would test cortisol, test DHEA, because those are powerful hormones. And that's part of the root, right? You showed a picture right before this where you see the root. Can you go back to that slide? That's a powerful slide with the tree and the roots, and then yeah, so the roots can be several. That's not always, it's not always one thing. But in our case, when we're looking at people, typically over 35, 40 years old, that's when we start struggling with weight loss, right? We brain fog, fatigue, our energy level goes down. In women, we start seeing hair loss, night sweats, waking up at night, so insomnia, low libido. We see those are the symptoms, right? What the problem is, insulin resistance, low estrogen, low progesterone, but sometimes low DHEA, high cortisol. Those are the actual problems. Now, when you peel back the onion even more and say, okay, I've identified some of these problems. Is there one thing that I should look at more than another? And this changed for me about a year ago. Yes, insulin resistance is like the master hormone behind everything. Because once I learn and understand that insulin is connected to all these hormones, and that's really a symphony, including our TSH, thyroid hormone, um, adrenal glands, cortisol, and I can control that and I can manage that, life gets a lot better, right? And so I won't go into all the details here, but I will say this. When we learn to manage our insulin and we bring that insulin level down by not snacking all day, this is a great slide. We our inflammation goes down, our weight loss comes down, our energy goes up, and naturally our hormones, our estrogen and progesterone will go up as well. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This slide here is a reason why so many of us are having issues after 35 and 40. So I see, Andrea, it's surprising. I see women in their early or mid 30s coming in with perimenopausal issues. Typically, it's hair loss and insomnia. Those are the first symptoms that you typically see, or I typically see in patients. Um, and what happens with insomnia? You can't sleep at night, so you don't feel rested.
Hmm.
And what's the first thing you do in the morning? You grab a cup of coffee with creamer and sugar. You have that creamer and sugar, and that spikes our insulin level. So that's even before, in this slide here, even before breakfast. Oftentimes we're spiking our insulin with coffee, creamer, and sugar. It's the sugar, of course, that's causing that spike. And then we have breakfast. So we've already had a spike, and then we have another spike in insulin with breakfast. And then we're going through our morning, and then we have our mid-morning crash. So we'll actually have a snack. There's a snack missing from the slide because we got to have our 10:30 snack. And then we have our lunch. Again, we spike our insulin. So that's one, two, three, four spikes. And then we have our mid-afternoon snack and possibly coffee again because I'm falling asleep. Then we have our dinner. Then we have our late night snack. I mean, right here we've got one, two, three, four, five insulin spikes. Two that I added. That's seven spikes. That's not including your sweet teas, your sodas. Every time we drink something with sugar in it, it's going to spike our insulin because you can have up to 10, 12, 14 spikes. And we're wondering why we're not losing weight. And we're wondering why we feel fatigued. The thing that we're grabbing to feel better, that instant gratification for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes is actually the problem, which causing us to have insulin resistance, insulin spikes, and feel fatigued and feel tired. Isn't that crazy?
It is, Dr. Bobby,
So
and I don't think I ever put two and two together as far as every time I was drinking something, depending on what it was. that I
Yeah.
was spiking my, because I think they say the average is like 11 times a day for the average person. So imagine if you're having 3 or 4 Cokes a day, or you're, whatever, you're really doing a job on your hormones.
And so the story continues, right? Couldn't sleep last night because I'm having hormonal issues. Then I spike my insulin all day. And so what do I do that night? I can't sleep again. And so I have insomnia. What happens when we have insomnia? If we can't sleep, if we're getting less than 3 to 4 hours of sleep, our body will produce glucose by itself. The liver will produce glucose by itself because it thinks it's an emergency. There's a problem. So it's called gluconeogenesis without food, right? And those of you who are diabetic and wear a CGM, you see this at night. Your body will actually produce that glucose spike. And then there's an instant response to try to get that glucose to our tissues. And then we wake up exhausted and tired again. And what do? We go through the whole routine one more time. And this each time we do this, it just puts a big damper, a big blunt on our natural hormone production. Here's another big golden nugget that I like to teach my patients is when we're sleeping, we should be sleeping between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Our body has what is called a glymphatic system, not to be confused with the lymphatic system. We all know about the lymphatic system, GLYMPH. Glymphatic system is in our brain. It's in our brain. And that glymphatic system goes into hyper overdrive between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And if we're not asleep during that time, when our body doesn't take it doesn't actually take advantage of that situation. And so our hormone production goes down. Our glymphatic system, part of the glymphatic system is getting rid of waste,
Mm.
and it doesn't, and so we have waste buildup in our brain. We have less hormone production. Think about night shift workers, people that are working nights and are not sleeping. They look aged, they don't look healthy. This is the reason why. Okay, it's a very powerful thing. So oftentimes I'm asked, where do I start? And that's like a very big question, hard question to answer, because I always like to start with sleep, but I
Mm.
can't sleep. So what do I do? So sleep then works with stress management, right? Doing meditation daily, 15 to 20 minutes of meditation. But wait, I can't sleep, so I can't stay awake when I do my meditation. Well, the next thing is nutrition, right? It's what I call the 5 pillars of health: sleep, stress, nutrition. Well, I can't really eat right because I'm going 500 miles per hour and I've got the kids and I got to get them to school and I'm getting McDonald's or whatever fast food. Well, the fourth pillar of health is exercise. Well, I don't have time for exercise. I can't have time for myself. Do you see how it's a big, convoluted problem. And if we don't stop and recognize the issues that are going on, it just gets worse and worse, which is what I see with all of my patients. They're when I see my patients, it's because of years of stress, years of neglect. They haven't put themselves first. They've put their family, their husband, their kids. And it's usually their kids first, then their husband, then everybody else, and then themselves. And they're just burned out. Does this sound familiar? Let me
It's
know in the comments.
Yeah, as somebody who went through adrenal issues, cortisol issues, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, yeah, and look at the comments. It's so common.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing. So when I'm working with my patients, the very first thing we work on is sleep. Because once we get sleep working and we use products, I use great supplements like L-theanine. I use melatonin, small doses of melatonin, magnesium glycinate. Why do I love magnesium glycinate? Because it works with insulin resistance. It's fantastic to add to what we're about to talk about, But magnesium glycinate helps with with anxiety, it helps with depression, it helps you get into deep REM sleep. It's really, really well, works really, really well. But even next to the sleep, right? we have to stop and we really need to take control of our nutrition. Go, can you go back to, do you have a nutrition slide here? Proper
Uh,
nutrition?
well, we're going into the protocol.
Yeah, yeah, let's go into the
Yeah,
protocol.
yep, we're going into the protocol. So that's what we're going to talk about, guys.
Yeah,
You know, many of us look at that, and we actually have a natural solution that's going to help you with all of this. So we're going to talk about that. You want to go ahead, Dr. Bobby?
yeah, I'm going to let you go, but once we recognize how powerful this is, because this is so simple. Well,
Mhm.
I have over 150 patients that are using this protocol, and they're getting just wonderful results from this. One, because it's simple. Two, because it works, right? And the third thing that's important to me, just so that you'll know, this is all found in the physician's desk reference, which is for me is extremely, extremely important. It's all science based. There's the University of Sydney that supports it. The Cleveland Clinic's done studies on this. We have over 30 studies on this protocol itself. And so for me, that's extremely important. Go ahead, Andrea, take over.
Yeah, no, I love that because, guys, our bodies was designed to live off of food. Our body, food can be our medicine, but when we are living in the state of ultra processed food, that fast food, hey, we just go through the drive-through all the time, the oils, all that, it wreaks havoc on our body. So what do we have? We are bringing fiber back in a simple plant-based, it's patented, can't be copied, proven to work, and we're going to show you lots of stories. We're going to show you social proof, but you can see here, we know even Cleveland Clinic has said the leading heart hospital, if we could get a population of people on this, it could lower the need for cholesterol and statin lowering medication, lower that risk. When you look at the side effects from the statin medications, just if Dr. Bobby mentioned the PDR, this protocol is in the PDR. It's pdr.net. Go and look at the medication that you're taking and look for any side effects or warnings because it could be there. This is also in there, which is what we love. But if we could get people off of their statins, get their heart healthier, get their lipid panels looking better, they're going to feel better. Because Dr. Bobby, tell us like statins, it's going to affect your mood, your joint. I mean, I know joint issues, a number of different things.
Yeah, so one of the big things with statins that people don't recognize or realize is the foundation, the starting point for the production of hormones is cholesterol. So if we reduce cholesterol, we will reduce our hormones. And so that's number one. Number two, statins have some great side effects, bad side effects. And the biggest one that people feel is just their muscle pain, leg swelling, and it's oftentimes not tolerable. What's interesting to me is that this product, this fiber specifically, has seven different sources of fiber in it, and it reduces, and this is in the PDR, it reduces your cholesterol levels more than statins, and it's a natural plant-based product. That's
That's
powerful.
phenomenal. Yeah, that's phenomenal. And okay, so tell me this too, because this is what I've read and been told. If a female is put on statins, like menopause age, she's twice as likely to become a type 2 diabetic. Is that true from your perspective, what you've seen?
So I've never heard that, so I can't speak to that.
Okay,
But
okay,
if you look at the science, it makes sense.
okay. Because we're messing with the hormone function, we're lowering
Yeah, exactly.
the cholesterol we need for our brain. Yeah.
At a higher level, we're not messing with the hormones, but when you dig deeper, it's all has to do with the hormone cascade I was talking about. It's called the steroidogenic pathway.
Okay.
And that's happening so think about it this way. Look, I want to make sure that it's hard to see potentially, but our hormone production happens in the mitochondria. The mitochondria is in a cell. Our cells are made up of protein, which are tissues, muscles, organs, right? The very, very lowest levels, there's a picture of a great mitochondria, right?
Hmm.
And so if we're reducing um, cholesterol, which our body needs to make hormones, it slows down that whole process of hormone production. The mitochondria will be affected, which is why you have that pain in the muscles, pain in your legs. That's typically where you feel it.
Mm. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Bobby. So
Yeah,
this
you're welcome.
protocol, guys, the fiber. and we'll go over exactly what you get, but it tells you exactly where to put the water. You stick it in. It's the easiest thing. Shake and go. I mean, you talk about easy fast food, it's easy fast food. Now we're going on to the next. This is a three-step protocol, two products, three steps. Easiest thing. You want to talk about why this makes fasting easier, Dr. Bobby, and some of the benefits of fasting and what it can do for our body?
Oh, first of all, fasting is incredible. It's been used over hundreds, centuries, right?
Mhm.
Um, from a spiritual perspective and a religious perspective, it's been used to cleanse the body, and we now have science to support that. Uh, Potential telomere lengthening, if you're familiar with telomeres, it's just fantastic. And one of the things that I have my patients tell me often is like, I've tried intermittent fasting, I've tried fasting, but didn't lose any weight. I wasn't successful at it. Well, one of the tools that we have is a chlorogenic tea, and that tea works fantastic. The base is a yerba mate concentrated up to 350% more. There's a patent on it, so it's not something you can just go and buy at the store, and it works super well at increasing your GLP-1 naturally. And so what happens is when we're doing our intermittent fasting or fasting, we're drinking this tea, increasing GLP-1 naturally, increasing satiety naturally, or we're not we feel full and we don't have that food chatter going on all the time. When most of the time when patients are breaking their fast without the tools, they're starving and they're overeating, so they don't see the results. They usually eat in the wrong food order as well. They're starting with carbohydrates. Well, guess what? That insulin spike happens and they messed up the whole thing. So there's such wonderful health benefits to starting with this chlorogenic tea because it increases your GLP-1 naturally, therefore decreasing insulin.
I love that. So, okay, somebody might not know, and I didn't realize this, that GLP-1 is an actual hormone that our body makes, correct? So it's not
Yep.
something that we have to, necessarily inject. Our body makes it, but it gets
Yep.
suppressed because of stress, our diet, our lifestyle, things like that. And this
Hmm.
helps support that, is what you're saying.
Sure.
That's
That's
amazing.
correct. So GLP-1 is glucagon-like peptide is what it stands for, glucagon-like peptide, and it's produced in the gut, in our small intestine and large intestine. And we can actually increase the production naturally with these tools. Right now, there are injections that are available that are exogenous or synthetic, and they're introduced into the body, um, and they're expensive. These tools are natural, all plant-based, sweetened with stevia, and you get just as good or sometimes better results with this protocol.
Well, yeah, and and what I've noticed is no side effects. The benefit
Yeah,
of the brain health. I don't walk in the kitchen anymore and like, okay, what did I go in here for?
right.
And we'll share stories but the brain health alone, sleeping better. I think the first thing I noticed when I started was I started to sleep better, and I'm like, oh. And I didn't realize, Dr. Bobby, as a female, that sometimes we get up and have to pee more in the night than what I realized. As a mom of five kids, that can affect everything. But I was getting up and going to the bathroom a lot. And once I got the sugar out, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not waking up. So
So
my sleep's
let's
better.
talk about that real quick. I think that's an important point. So you were waking up, and I think you know why, right? Tell everybody why you were waking up to pee.
Because I was trying to dump sugar, right?
Yeah.
The cortisol, the
Yep.
hormones, all of
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just so what happens is most of our culture is insulin resistant. We just don't
Mhm.
know it. I was insulin resistant. I was working out twice a day. I was eating what I thought was the right way every 2 or 3 hours, spiking my insulin all the time. And I was waking up and peeing often. Once I started working on my insulin levels and using the protocol, initially my body was dumping pee. So
Mhm.
the first month, I was actually peeing more frequently. I was like, what's going on? Well, my body was releasing the excess glucose that was stored in my liver, stored in my fat. And so
Yeah.
it's a common thing that happens when you start the protocol. But as you continue and progress, you actually, I don't even wake up. to pee anymore.
Yeah. I don't either. And the hormone balance that it's brought, I mean, it's just been phenomenal. So guys, this is the simplest system ever. So our solution, and we've covered some of this, it has over 20 clinical studies. It's HSA and FSA approved. So if you have that with your insurance, that's something that you can use to pay for this protocol. It's a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical, so it's natural. It's in over 60 countries now. It's patented, it's guaranteed. We have a 90-day money back guarantee. You have an app that you're going to get to download that you get to actually track when you take this Unimate, when you take your balance, when you start eating. So it's tracking all of that. And now it's actually tracking your steps. And I love that it's interacting with some of our other, apps on our phone. And you've got recipes, you've got how-tos in there. It's brilliant. Simplest thing ever. It's a little over $5 a day, okay? But for our family, and I'm sure others, we're saving money. We're probably saving at least 60 to $80 a week, literally, on no more drinks outside of this and water, and no snacks because you just don't want them. And we're not spiking our blood sugar all day long. I'm not craving things all day long. And it's in the physician's desk reference. It's a beautiful thing that we found. What would you say on this, Dr. Bobby?
Yeah, no, one of the things that for me, $5 and change, I was spending about 12 to $15 every morning for breakfast and coffee. And once I started the protocol and stopped, I started skipping breakfast. I'm actually making money by not doing it, by not doing my old habits, right? And I'm feeling better. I mean, simply, $5 is really not much, but when you look at the net cost, it's actually I'm saving money, and it's works really really well. And it's easy to do. I want to say that there's actually more clinical studies. I mentioned 30 earlier. I think that's increased as well. But again, for me, from a pharmaceutical perspective, from a pharmacist perspective, being in the physician's desk references, that's the gold standard. And so the research is there. It's very, very powerful.
I love that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question because
Sure.
this would have been me. And James actually tried to get me to start fasting with him before we ever found this protocol. I couldn't do it. I could
Yeah.
not. The thought of even, I'm like, no, I wake up and I'm starving. If I fast, I'm going to be hangry. I'm going to be mad. You're not going to like me. And so, what have you found? Because you said it was easy, and then I'm going to share what I found too. What have you found?
Yeah, it's been really easy for me. So prior to this, there was the longest I'd gone on a fast was 48 hours. And it was hard, it was difficult. Now that I've got the protocol using these tools and fasting, Amy and I did a 72-hour fast together, and it wasn't hard at all. Because you can use the tea, you can use the fiber, and you feel great. The energy levels go up. But yeah, fat prior to this, I tried intermittent fasting. It affected my thyroid. I was cold all the time. The protocols helped with that, stabilizing my hormones. I'm not on any bioidentical hormone replacement therapy because my testosterone levels have naturally gone up and my energy's up and I feel great. It's just a great protocol.
I love that. Well, and for me, I would wake up and want breakfast. Well, now I wake up and I take this and I do it
Yeah.
hot when it's cold and you're just not hungry. So it gives you that willpower. We call it the willpower in a packet. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you for all of that. Okay. So we talked about this. You just mentioned fasting. There's so many reasons to fast. And guys, if you feel like, hey, I'll never be able to do that, don't let that hinder you. Just start sipping this. This gives you that willpower. Don't look at fasting and say, "Oh, there's no way," and just count it out because just move your breakfast back an hour. That's all you got to do. Just start slow, and I love that about this because this is food. We're adding more good to our day, and we don't have to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect with it, and it really works. So,
Yeah, can I say something about that, Andrea? You hit it right on the
absolutely.
nail as far as being flexible. There's days that like I'm also a social person, right? And my on the weekends, I'm still practicing everything. Um, but there are times when my family wants to go out to breakfast, like at 10 a.m. So guess what? I'm just shifting my fasting window from 12 p.m. back to 10 a.m. And then, of course, I'm shifting the ending from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. So it's not like it has to be black and white. You just want to have that fasting window of 16 hours or longer, or shorter, but start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's just giving your body that rest so it can
Sure.
truly rest and digest. And guys, as somebody who I didn't digest protein for 57 years until I started this protocol. I mean, I my body struggled and I didn't realize how much I struggled until I found this. And it's like such an answer to my prayers. So this is, how many of us started with New Year's resolutions? Literally, we had goals at the beginning of January. And if we're probably honest, if you want to be real and put in the chat, just raise your hand. Yeah, I've already fallen off. I have not reached those goals. We don't need to set those goals that we're just going to fall off of. We need a solution and a system, and we have both in this protocol. So this is going to help you reach those goals. Even if you've fallen off, even if you don't do it right, we're here to help coach you. It's easy, it's routine, it's simple. Stick it in your purse, stick it in your car, take it in your office bag. It's the easiest thing we've ever done. And John Eisman says, I haven't kept with my New Year's resolutions, but he's kept with this, and I can't wait for you to hear his stories. So it's an amazing. We have lots of stories. You will see John right here. John, would you like to come up real quick and share your story? Because we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, before this protocol, I was a type 2 diabetic for 25 years in standard medical care, doing their advice, eat less, move more, take these pills, take these shots. And yeah, I was doing well managing it, but it just slowly progressed and got worse and worse over the 25 years. And it got worse to the point where 8 years ago, I started having complications with diabetic foot ulcers to the point that is making my health even worse.
Mm.
And I tried everything I could to make it heal. And, it took 18 months to heal for the first one I had, 8 years ago. Cost me $150,000 with, insurance and all that on top of that, just for the IV antibiotics and all that stuff to take care of that infection. And then once it got healed, that foot ulcer just didn't go away. It came back, and when it came back with a vengeance. And that took another 2 years for that one to heal. And then that's when I came across this protocol. And I was actually in the process of fighting my third foot ulcer when I started this protocol. And when I started this, I started in January of 2025, and it healed that foot ulcer in a matter of 30 days. And that's unheard of for a diabetic to have any type of lower extremity wound heal. So, it healed it in 30 days, and it just blew my mind. And I'm like, okay, there's no way this could be happening. And I'm like, there's got to be a trick to this, and got to be there wasn't. The trick is this protocol works. And they don't teach you this information in the standard medical care because they don't know this information, like Dr. Bobby mentioned earlier. But the thing is, you stick with it, you're consistent, it will change your life. I've been on it for over a year now, and I've been off all my diabetic medication, actually any medication actually, for the last 10 months, and I've had no problems since then. So, stick with it.
Wow, John, that's awesome. And because you very likely could have gone down a path of losing limbs.
Yes,
I mean, that's where you were literally headed with really no hope in sight. And when we
correct.
look at your pictures, we all need to go update our pictures, guys. I hate to tell us that, but we really do because you've changed so much. And getting to see John and his wife in person, they've got grandbabies. There's so much that literally you got your life back. So that's leaving a different story for your whole family, you know? So grandpa's around and there's nothing like that. So congratulations. Thank you for sharing because I know you were a huge inspiration to my dad who all of a sudden got hey, we're going to have to remove your toe. A1C was like 4.8, but he had all the signs of insulin resistance. And John shared his story and dad said, "Okay, I'm going to try." And we saved that toe in 4 months. And so yeah, thank you.
Andrea, that's awesome. And let me just tell you, in the medical world, that's unheard of. What John just his testimony is unheard of. In the pharmacy level, we're a compounding pharmacy, of course, and so we're always making special creams, special antibiotics, and you've probably seen them, John, to increase blood flow to help with, and they we're just managing the foot ulcer. We're not healing the foot ulcer. And so this is unheard of. And it's amazing. Good job, John.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much, John, for sharing. Okay, so guys, you guys can see all these testimonies. And we've got another one that's on here. Miss Linda, are you on here? Can you pop up and can you share? I don't know if you are on screen. Let me see if I can find you. Are you on that you can share? Maybe she's not. Okay, I thought she was
I
gonna.
know she told me she was going to be on it, but I can
No.
speak. Linda's one of my patients, so I can talk about
Yeah.
her real quick. She is um, when I met her, she was having all kinds of issues with sleep, stress. She just lost her husband. She's been my patient for roughly 6 years. And working with her, she lost 75 pounds and she's done a fantastic job. Then
Mhm.
she stalled. And this was all natural. Like she did the weight loss through nutrition, through exercise, and really optimizing the five pillars of health: sleep, stress, nutrition, exercise. She's a great role model for all of us. She's 73 years old. She is a person that when people tell me I'm getting too old, I bring up Linda's case because there's no excuse. She this is not this before picture is not the before picture she should be showing. Her before
Okay.
picture is, yes, she's obese. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This picture that she's showing is the 10 pounds she lost when she plateaued and she started the protocol. She had plateaued, wasn't getting results, was getting very frustrated, and then she started the peak performance protocol, the tea, the fiber, and then she lost 10 additional pounds. She's doing fantastic. Her energy levels are through the roof. I just met with her prior to us having our Zoom call, and she's just doing fantastic.
Mm. I love that. We just don't know, guys. The body is so resilient. And for us to say, hey, it's gonna work exactly like this in your system, all we know is it's gonna add more good. It will go to and start doing what needs to be done first. If you look at me over here with this fish, the inflammation that I had, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how bad I felt until you start feeling good. So we have tons of stories. Dr. Andrina, we've got Jennifer and Vicky. I think Vicky's on here. Can we maybe do one more story? Do we have time for that, Vicky? Would you want to pop up and share your story if you can? I kind of put her on the spot. If you're available, that would be great. Vicky is a type 1 diabetic who has seen, okay, she said yes. Okay, so let me, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Um, Vicky is a type 1 diabetic and she's seen amazing results with this, guys. And sometimes when you're a type 1 diabetic, you feel like there's no hope. Okay, Vicky, go ahead. Please share your story.
Hey there, everybody. Yeah, so I'm a type 1 diabetic, and as a type 1, you're pretty much hopeless, right? So I thought. But after starting the protocol, which I was extremely skeptical of, um, I started getting results right away. Like day one, I thought I felt something, but I was like, surely I'm just having a good day. It's not happening. But by day two, like my energy was through the roof. I was somebody who would go home at night, fix dinner, sit in the recliner, and by 7:30 I was snoring. And day two, I didn't do that. I was raring to go, and I was up till like 11:30 that night, and went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I woke up rested and feeling amazing. And that hadn't happened for me since probably before I was diagnosed. And so over the first week, I reduced my daily insulin by 62%, which I thought was incredible. But
Mhm.
That is incredible, Vicky. That's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
then the month went, but what? weeks went by, and I posted a video on our Peak Performance Protocol Facebook page, just because I just couldn't believe what was happening to me. So in 3.5 weeks, I lost 20 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. And I was like, how in the world? I mean, I've done every diet that there is. I've paid a lot of money for diets, right? And I wasn't eating any differently, really. It was just the times that I was eating and the food order. And I couldn't wrap my head around how this was happening. And so then the more I learned, I'm thinking, well, maybe it was just inflammation, but I'm thinking, how can you carry around 20 pounds of inflammation, right? But I really think that it was 20 pounds of inflammation. And so then, that was 3.5 weeks. So over the next 3.5 months, I lost another 20 pounds. So I was down 40 pounds. And at the end of my first month, my my daily insulin intake was down 79%. So when I started the protocol, I was taking 55 to 65 units a day, and I use an insulin pump, which has a CGM connected to it. So it really acts as like an artificial pancreas, truly. And so in a month, I was down 79%. I went from 55 to 65 units a day down to 15 to 18 units, just depending on what I had to eat that day. And after 4 months, down 40 pounds. I'm now a year into it. I'm still at about 79%. Some days I might go a little higher or a little bit lower, but on an average, 79% still down for insulin. But I've now lost 50 pounds. And, you guys were talking about how difficult fasting can be. Honestly, I would fast every day before. It was nothing for me to go all day and not eat until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I would start getting hungry. That wasn't the problem. But the problem for me was as soon as I took my first bite, like it was like the gates of hell opened and I just kept eating. From that moment until I went to bed, I would eat. And sometimes, well, a lot of times, I had really, really bad insomnia. And a lot of times I would get up in the middle of the night and continue to eat. So no wonder I wasn't hungry until 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I was eating through the night too. So it really is, life is just very different now, very different in every way, shape, and form.
Wow.
Congratulations, Vicky. That's awesome.
Thank you. I hope it didn't go too long.
No, it's perfect.
No, people need that hope. I mean, you feel hopeless. And Vicky, we have watched it, and I'll never forget the day when your A1C, you had just gotten the results of your A1C. And what was it? Was it 5.1? Is that what it was?
It was 7.1 when I started, and I don't remember. That was in July, and I got my blood test results back, and it was 5.9. And 36 years, I'd never been below 7, ever, ever, and I'd been up as high as 10. So for me to get to 5.9, which is a pre-diabetic reading, I'm still just floored by that. Still just floored by it.
Yeah.
Andrea, these are two incredible stories.
Yeah.
Really, really incredible stories because in the world I come from, and I'm guilty, we manage care. We don't fix the problem. We don't go to the root cause, right? I mean, yes, I do practice functional medicine, but traditional pharmacy, traditional medicine, we're not fixing things, and so definitely there's a lot of hope. The more people I meet who are on the protocol, the more people that I'm seeing personally in my practice and in the pharmacy. Just to give you a big picture, Vicky knows what I'm talking about. John knows what I'm talking about. Andrea knows what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of people who may be watching who don't understand this. This next thing is the phases. Phase one is insulin resistance. You have no idea you have insulin resistance. You can have insulin resistance for up to 15 years before you have prediabetes. So when you get prediabetes, then that's the next stage. And you're kind of like, hey, you've got prediabetes, your insulin levels, your A1C is slightly high, your glucose level is slightly high, and then you're told to go and change your lifestyle, make some lifestyle modifications. You're not too worried about it. So you're like, what are lifestyle modifications? I'm not sure. Let me continue with life. You don't do anything. And then you become diabetic. And now you have full-blown diabetes. Your A1C is much higher. Your fasting glucose is much higher. Nobody's testing your insulin. So you don't know what your insulin level is. And you're like, they say, make some lifestyle modifications, change your nutrition. Again, no guidance. You don't do anything. Now you go back and you have fatty liver, high cholesterol, hypertension. So it's a slippery slope, right? 15 years of insulin resistance. What are the signs? Belly fat, skin tags, inflammation, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, high blood sugar, constant cravings. If this is happening to you now and you're not pre-diabetic, this is the time to start making changes, not when you have fatty liver. But I do want to
Dr.
give you hope,
Bonnie,
like Vicky and John just said. Yes, ma'am.
I just, if I could just interject one thing.
Absolutely.
So, about 3 years ago, my doctor told me I was insulin resistant. And that really scared me because I know what resistant means and I know I need insulin to live, right? So I was like, what does that mean? Am I going to die? Because if the insulin's not working, what's going to happen? And she's like, no, you'll just have to take more over time. You basically, you're building a tolerance up to it. So you'll just need more.
Mm.
So when I saw her after starting this protocol and she saw my A1C at 5.9, she purchased the protocol for one thing. But I told her about it. I told her about the fasting piece of it. And she said, oh, well, that's why you're using less insulin. And I said to her, you told me 3 years ago I was insulin resistant. Why didn't you mention that maybe I should be trying to do intermittent fasting to get that
Yeah.
under control? Like
Yeah.
that, I was irritated that she hadn't said anything to me because I could have maybe made some progress 3 years ago, right?
Sure. Right.
Um, and
Absolutely.
so I think that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. They don't think that way or they don't know enough about it. I don't know what the answer is, but that's why it's so important for us to be our own advocates and learn ourselves from professionals like you that are taking your time to do this. I so appreciate that. So thank you and Andrea so much for this.
You're welcome, Vicky. And yeah, I wasn't taught this in pharmacy school. We're not taught this in medical school. There may be one semester in pharmacy and medical school on nutrition, and it's not anything like this. That's just the reality. We have to learn on our own. I got further training with the A4M that Andrea mentioned. I'm a fellow, and that's where I learned about it initially. And of course, been self-taught and of course, read a lot of studies and research regarding that. But bottom line is there is hope. If you have fatty liver, if you are diabetic, if you're even on insulin, just like Vicky was, there is hope. With following this protocol will help you reverse hypertension, will help you reverse diabetes, will help you reverse fatty liver. We have so many cases of people with fatty liver and their fatty liver has been reversed.
Yeah. Now, Vicky, I have a quick question. And guys, I promise we're going to wrap up here real soon. Um, if your doctor would have told you, hey, you need to fast, do you think you would have been able to do it without these tools?
Well, no, because like I said, I really was fasting, or so I
Yeah,
thought I was. But because as soon as I ate the first bite, like
you
I
were.
was starving. I was fine as long as I didn't eat, but as soon as I ate, I was starving.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about waking up a million times at night to go to the bathroom. Hand to God, I was up every 20 minutes going to the bathroom. And until you said that just a few minutes ago, I never realized it was, I was spilling sugar the whole time. It never
Mm.
clicked until you just said that a few minutes ago. I, it was crazy. And now I might, maybe one time a night.
That's awesome. And guys, that's just it. Our body is fearfully and wonderfully made. When we give it the right tools, that right nutrition that it requires, things come back into balance. And I think Molly has a question, and I think Linda came on, and then we're going to let everybody go. I'm going to get over here back to this real quick. Molly, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, Dr. Bobby, I just have a quick question. You were talking about statins and the lower leg pain. My dad is on statins and he pulled a muscle or something in his foot. It was really excruciating for him. And then now he most recently, that healed, but now he's most recently pulled a calf muscle. Is it possible that it's the statin that he's on that's causing that?
It is possible, but you definitely want to work with his doctor at potentially reducing the cholesterol, the statin, and also look at, is he on the protocol by any chance?
He's not. And this is one piece I'm trying to educate him
Sure,
about. Because
sure. So number one, get him on magnesium glycinate.
okay.
The dosage is 5 milligrams per kilogram per day. And then number two, if you can, look at his cholesterol levels and just to determine if he really needs it, or maybe it can be reduced. Number three, get him on the protocol as soon as possible.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay, I think I saw Miss Linda come in. Linda, did you come in? Did you sneak in where we missed you before? If you did, if you are available to share your story.
Hi, so sorry I got the time wrong. I thought it was 12:30. So
Oh, it's
I'm
12:30
so sorry.
Eastern. That is okay. Guys, Linda, I want you to hear her story. And Dr. Bobby shared a little bit, but Linda, will you just share with us your story because it's so encouraging and you're just a light in our world. So thank you. Go ahead. Hold on. I'm going to pin you up here. Please share with us.
Well, thank you, Andre. I appreciate that. I've been on a health journey for a while. Bobby's been helping me for probably the last 6.5 years. And I guess the story then was I lost 75 pounds just with doing keto and some of the other things that we've been doing together. But before the protocol, I did get stuck and I was gaining some weight back little by little. And when I started the protocol, it just really helped me to be able to lose a little bit of weight. But most of all, it helped me to maintain, and I'm not gaining weight and I'm feeling strong and feeling healthy, sleeping better, less inflammation, just actually doing really good. So I'm really thankful, and it makes it, I guess the thing for me being on the protocol makes it easy to be good, so to speak, because I was already doing a lot of the things with intermittent fasting and some of the other things that we do on the protocol, but it just makes it easy to be good, made it easier.
I love that. And I love the fact that
Mhm.
no matter what age we are, if we add this in, it supports us. And that's just what you said. And you just got back from a trip. So you're still traveling, you run a school. I mean, you are a busy lady, right? You're a busy woman. You're a mom. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
you've got your hands, you're doing a lot. You're wearing a lot of hats. And this is helping support you to do that. And
Absolutely. Mhm.
thank you so much for sharing because I think so many people are struggling and they just feel hopeless and they don't have the energy. They don't have, and look at you, the vibrancy and I want to
Yep.
age like Linda. I want to do that. I've watched people age rough and that one slide about the health span versus a lifespan. What are we creating? So thank you so much, Linda, for encouraging us to age well. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing your story. Such a light to our community. So thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
Okay, gosh, Dr. Bobby, there's so many. I don't even know where to go from here. We've got more stories, guys. You can see the pictures. We got Claudia on here. We're going to be doing this every week. So you want to come back because you're going to be learning more. And we've got Angie with thyroid issues and Arlie and Kim, who is the autoimmune nightmare, she calls herself. I mean, just people after people. You can see just the struggles that people had and how this literally has brought them to a new season in their life, a new, just a new opportunity to live again and to live well again. And this is Dr. Dieter. He was fasting. He's a internal medicine doc, pediatrician. He was working at the ER here, fasting and running. He got on the protocol. I think it was what, 60 days, and this is what happened. And he's sharing all over the world. So we have the opportunity. It's here. This is an answer to so many prayers. Oh, I should have warned you. This is Keith's foot ulcer. So you're going to see that, a number of different people on here, but that's what we were talking about. So let's rewrite your story. This is an opportunity to change the narrative of your health legacy that you're leaving. Your health truly is your wealth. We invite you, whoever invited you to this opportunity call, to this Zoom call, to see this on Facebook, whoever shared this with you, get with them because they have a discount link. Because we want to, our goal was to help reverse these chronic conditions, and that's what we're doing on a daily basis. That's why we showed up today, this afternoon. You know, some of us had other things to do, but we were like, no, you guys are too important. Our friends, our family, those that we love and care about, you're too important. We want you to know this because I would not sleep well knowing that one of my friends was struggling and I didn't at least share. Okay. So if you know somebody that's sharing, that's struggling, share this with them. Not that we want to sell them a product, okay? We want to change their life. And literally, that's what we're doing. We want to add more food. You know, we can go to Walmart and we can go to Amazon and get all these supplements. Guys, go do the research on that. You don't even know what's really in it, okay? Because there's no regulations. We know what is in this, we know it's proven. So I just want to encourage you get with the person that invited you. Say yes, give it 90 days. You have nothing to lose, nothing to fear. Dr. Bobby, you want to close this out? What would you say?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the reality is that, as a pharmacist, I see so many chronic conditions over and over, and it seems like there's no solution. For me personally, for my wife, Amy, it's our mission to be able to get this information out there to help at least one person. I want to be able to help as many people in my community because we are in a community of diabetics. We're in a community of hypertension. We're in a community of fatty liver. And if I can just save one person's life by introducing them to this protocol and the system, that's my goal. I want to be able to help as many people as I can because it's easy to do and it's natural. It's all natural. That's how I want to end because that's my goal. Thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. And get with the person. They have a special link for you that's going to give you a discounted price, and they're going to be there to support you. Thank you, Dr. Bobby. Such a blessing to work with you and have all of our community here and those visitors. So thanks for joining us today. Guys, have a
You're
great
welcome. Thank you for
Thursday.
having me.
Bye bye.